Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you for coming back to this channel, and be sure that you're subscribed, and be sure that you comment in the comment section, like the video and share with others as well. I'm gonna be playing some videos from recovering people pleasers. Some of them are actually therapists, so just a couple of videos or how you can identify a people pleaser, or if you can see if you are a people pleaser. So I'll be playing those stitches. Before playing them, I would like to define what a people pleaser is. A people pleaser is someone who consistently prioritizes other people's needs before their own, or at the expense of their own happiness. And mostly people who tend to be people pleasers actually tend to seek validation and approval from others. They have fear of rejection, criticism, or conflict. And then they sacrifice their own needs and desires and have difficulty saying no. They feel responsible for other people's happiness and they neglect their own self-care and boundaries. And to be honest, I'm going to be putting on my own opinion at the end of this video. So before we continue, here are some of the stitches. Here are some of the stitches from TikTok.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but maybe it's you. I became a recovering people pleaser when I realized that my fear of losing people was making me lose myself. That while I was busy being afraid of being rejected, busy being afraid of being abandoned, saying yes to things that I desperately wanted to say no to, doing things that were out of character for me because I wanted to feel like I belonged. In hindsight, I wasn't showing up as my most authentic self. I was losing myself in the game of keeping other people. And so if this is you, if you're somebody who deals with people pleasing or overextending or over-compromising, because deep down you are afraid of being abandoned, you're afraid of being alone, I want you to know that you can recover and you can heal.
People pleaser in a relationship is tough, not just because it means you likely don't get a lot of your needs met, but also because it's a habit. It's really hard to break. We might not even realize we're doing it. People pleasing might feel like the easiest way to keep your relationship calm in the moment, but over time it is not sustainable and it leads to more conflict. So how do you break your people pleasing habit? First, in order to intervene, you actually have to be able to recognize what kind of people pleaser you are. Here are a couple examples. Do you always say yes when actually you want to say no? Are you somebody that avoids conflict? Instead of giving somebody feedback, you'd rather just let it slide? Are you somebody that pretends to be happy even when you're upset? Or maybe you apologize excessively even when you know that it's not your fault? If you do any of those things, you might be people pleasing in your relationships. Know which ones you tend towards. Second, start to recognize the consequences of your people pleasing behaviors. For example, a lot of people who people please are very dismissive, meaning that they'll either give the silent treatment, they'll say yes, but they'll say it with like a shrug or a sort of passive aggressive sure. That is something that has a negative impact in relationships long term. Another potential consequence is that you might subconsciously or consciously sabotage whatever it is that you've said yes to. You might procrastinate, you might intentionally make mistakes, and that of course is going to ultimately hurt your relationship. A lot of people who are people pleasers and are really kind and say yes in the moment end up making a lot of sarcastic, dismissive, passive aggressive comments later on. Finally, use the power of a pause. Give yourself 5 minutes, and I mean even set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. And at the end of those 5 minutes, ask yourself again, what is it that I really want? Give yourself permission to say, hey, let me get back to you on that. Because in those 5 minutes, you can go from people pleaser to actually advocating for what you value. Now your turn. What are the biggest struggles that you face when you're trying to overcome the habit of people pleasing?
The reason why you're a people pleaser is because you want to be liked. And you want to be liked because being liked gives you a sense of safety. Because you lack the self-trust to give yourself that sense of safety. But finding a sense of safety through other people liking you is lazy. It's an option, but it's lazy. What people don't tell you when they tell you to stop being a people pleaser or to start living in your truth is, it's hard. People aren't going to like you. This is something I've had to learn the hard way in my life many times. But I've been to hell and back so many times that I don't fucking care anymore, dude. And I don't know if there's a place to, there's a way to get there without having to go through hell and back. I don't know. That's just my experience. But I've done that so many times. I've had so many dark nights of the souls that I don't fucking care anymore. The only purpose of life is to live your truth. And it's going to be hard. And people aren't going to like you. And people are going to spin stories about you. And people are going to create narratives around you. And you're going to give people no reason not to like you, except for the fact that you walk in your truth. And they are going to find every reason to not like you. And that's just something you have to accept. And it's going to fucking suck. Like, it's not just this like switch you flip in your brain and things get easier and you're living your truth and it's all sunshine and rainbows. No, it's the opposite of that. It's fucking hard. It's going to the gym every day and lifting weights. It's improving yourself. And by improving yourself, you get less people around you. You get less like-minded people around you. You get more evil eyes on you. But the advantage of that, what you get from that, is you get to look back on a life that's been lived. Because you can't take any of this shit with you. You can't take any of these people who like you with you. You can't take any of these people that you pleased with you. All you can do is look back on your life and decide whether or not you actually lived it. And if you care about what other people think of you, you didn't live it. To me, that's my biggest fear.
Accountability for a recovering people pleaser is realizing that you don't need anyone else's permission to be yourself. It's accepting the fact that narcissists are always going to be narcissists, but that it's your responsibility to decide who you let in and who you trust. Because a lot of times, people pleasers tend to give their all right away, not making the other person work for it, not even feeling out the other person enough before giving away the access. And it can come from a multitude of places. Trauma, which leads to desperation, a keen desire for love because you've never had it, which is trauma, and understanding that that enables certain cycles and patterns in your life can be how you actually break out of the cycle. Recognizing your role in your life provides you with an opportunity for you to be a better you that thinks about you before making a potentially harmful decision that impacts you, which allows you to unapologetically show up for yourself, but with a brain. Because not only do you have to learn how to decenter everyone else from your life, you have to decenter yourself from theirs as well, thinking that everything that they do and they say is meant for you. Just because you share a moment with someone, that doesn't mean it's your moment. Sometimes that's just something for them to learn. And maybe your learning within that is that maybe you don't need to carry somebody else's burdens. Maybe you don't need to stick around for something to get worse. Maybe you don't need to keep trying things that aren't working because guess what? They're not working. We make a lot of different decisions trying to survive. But if the way that you were trying to survive is not allowing you to thrive, maybe you should let that go before things get worse. Because as scary as loneliness may be, you are not lonely if you're alone. And being alone allows you to learn to trust yourself, which gives you an opportunity to let you know that you don't have to keep trusting everybody right away, no matter what kind of position that you're in. Because it's not just that people prey on loneliness and vulnerability and transparency. It's also, do you really want to deal with this person right now? Do you want to deal with these people? Or is this the time that you really have to tune into you and just deal with you for a while?
The reason why people keep taking advantage of you is because you're a people pleaser. Maybe you had a parent that only showed you love when you followed their expectations of you. Had hot and cold behavior, kept invalidating your feelings, or repeatedly crossed your boundaries growing up. So you learn from a young age that in order to feel secure, you need to mold yourself into what other people expect of you. This can look like having a hard time saying no, or having a hard time setting and maintaining boundaries. Or it can be neglecting your own needs to take care of others.
What made you become a people pleaser? You wired that way, or is that a trauma response?
For sure, trauma response. I had to go all the way back to where it started, and it started in my household. And it's rooted in wanting to be liked and not ruffling feathers and making sure that making everybody happy. Like, you like me.
Yeah.
You know, it's rooted in wanting to have validation and be liked.
I feel that. I have been, is a people pleaser.
Yeah, yeah.
All of those things. I can't tell if it's about being liked or trying to manipulate belonging.
Explain that.
So I cannot tell if I am doing it because I want people to like me or if I am so desperate for a sense of belonging that I manipulate myself or the situation in order to have a sense of belonging.
Wow.
I think sometimes what we're calling is I want to be liked is really I want to feel like I belong somewhere. And
That's
so
deep.
whatever music I need to listen to or not listen to, whatever actions I need to take or not need to take, I'm willing to do that because at the core, I'm looking for a sense of belonging.
There's a really unique and actually intelligent reason behind why people please. So if you're a people pleaser like me and you're trying to overcome the people pleasing tendency, I've got something to share with you today. Because it is honestly draining to spend this much time focusing on how you are perceived, how other people feel about you, what people are going to think. So let's handle this. The reason you are people pleasing, likely, is because you have a strong underlying need to control the way people feel about you, people see you, people perceive you. And in order to protect and feel safe within that sense of control, you do what others want you to do. You avoid confrontation. You avoid the difficult situations because it's easier to make someone else happy rather than to potentially have them dislike you, be mad at you, or disagree with you. This is some real inner child shit. There's a little version of you inside this body that just wants to feel loved, seen, and accepted. But the truth is that the more you people please, the more you abandon yourself for someone else. It is hard to stand firm in your boundaries when you've never done it before in your life. It is hard to say no when you've always said yes. But these are the traits and qualities and things you need to do for yourself to really start taking your power back as a human. The people who are actually meant for you, the people who are actually meant to be in your life would never want you to be a people pleaser. They're going to want you to be in your power. So if you standing true and firm in your boundaries and your beliefs make someone leave or steer someone away, they weren't meant for you anyways. The one person you can't abandon in this life is yourself. And by people pleasing, you're doing just that. So choose yourself, my love.
People Pleasers Express. I want to know why it's so bad to be a people pleaser. What's wrong with being nice to people? It's one thing to be nice, it's another to say yes to everything and everybody so people will like you and you can avoid conflict. If you do that, you have no boundaries, and without boundaries, you have no respect. Without boundaries, you'll never figure out who you are, what you like, and what you are supposed to do with your life, because you're living it for everybody else.
List dangers of being a people pleaser. It says loss of self, mostly because you want to please people around you. You want people around you to be pleased with you. You don't show off your authentic self to anyone, so you cannot be authentic. It's also there. So you do not know who you are because you are trying to be the person that you want the people around you to view you as. You cannot say no, which is true. I personally can't say no to anything, even though I want to say no. Even though now I have learned to say no. I have lied. If I don't say no, I mostly just have to tell a lie, which most of the time I feel guilty about. Self-doubt, which is also you always want to seek permission from any and everybody else, so that you can feel like what you're doing is right, or your decision is right. I remember someone in my life just told me, like, why is it that you can't make good decisions? And I was kind of embarrassed. It was a very minor thing in that sense, but he was able to pick up that I can't make decisions. Even small decisions, I can't decide on anything, mostly because I had to decide when I had a chance to make decisions. It wasn't a matter of me making decisions for myself or doing something that pleased me, but it was a matter of me making decisions to make something that pleases people around me, or the person that asked me to make that decision, or what I wanted them to approve of. You're taken advantage of mostly when you are a people pleaser, because you are so nice and you're so kind. People take your kindness in some sort of an advantage. Because for me as well, personally, sometimes I do beading. I bead jewelry, and as well as I also crochet some products, which is one of the things I stopped selling, or I stopped bidding, because there has been multiple times, it's not one time, there has been multiple times, because where people did not pay me money, because some will say, oh, can you give me on credit? I will pay it later. So because I couldn't say no, I did not want to say no because I couldn't, I would give them my jewelry, or I'll sell the jewelry on credit. And to this day, I'm still not paid. So that's also a thing that I have experienced. And then it says you feel pressure to be nice all the time and constantly taking advantage of you. Okay, that's what I've said. So yeah, I think, and every time I see these people who owe me, they don't say anything about the products that I have made. Mind you, it takes me so much time, and so many sleepless nights for me to actually finish up these products, and for me to sell to them and they don't pay me. It quite hurts, because I'm a people pleaser. It's been years now. I think it's been 3 years, and I'm still not paid. So that's part of being a people pleaser, which is a disadvantage. Speaking of money, so I would like for you guys to subscribe to my channel and help me grow. One of the main reasons I started this channel, it was because I wanted to achieve some financial independence, and I'm struggling with these people pleasing and being an adult who has grown up being sheltered, and then being codependent or depending on others for financial support is quite depressing as well. So that's why I would like for you guys to grow with me and let's grow this channel together. So be sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe as well. Bye. See you in another video. Bye bye.